Hello, this is Dread, and in today's video topic, do you like turning your brain off? Do you like going AFK while you farm? Do you have to change diapers while you're also playing the video game? If so, this is the build for you. Now, of course, this is not a league starter. This takes a lot of investment. When I said in the other video where I was like, hey, if you want to play a build that does not take that many buttons to play, you're going to have to put some investment into it. This is what I was talking about. So if you don't know, a long time ago, I played a build called Vortex Pennant Warpath. The idea is we cast a bunch of smites and stuff like that with Vortex Pennant. If you don't know, Vortex Pennant is a unique relic that allows your warpaths to cast axe throws based on your physical damage percentage, right? So the more physical damage percent that you have on your gear, the more axes that you're going to throw. Now, what's interesting about this is you can automate smite with this. So if we look at idols here, they even buffed our build too, because they changed the smite idols. We were never like getting a bajillion smites. We were only getting a decent amount. So this is actually a buff to our build, having a 50% chance. And we have plenty of percent physical. Trust me, we do. I checked. Yeah, you have plenty of percent physical damage to make enough axes to pop out. The reason why this is so interesting is because the echoes from Warpath, each echo, they also throw out their own axe. So you can see in the footage here, each echo that we cast actually throws out their own axe, which makes this a lot better than you'd like it to be, because now you can just ignore it. Now, with the removal of reversal, I thought that this build would be dead. Also, as well, like, you know, there's a lot of other reasons why I thought this build would be dead, but EHG threw us a huge bone here. So if we look over here at the patch notes, where is it? I'm trying to find it. There's a new node here. Sightless Star has been moved to require Abyssal Rush, and its functionality has been replaced. Whenever Abyssal Rush triggers, it has 8% chance to consume only 50% of Devouring Orb's cooldown and mana cost, and Abyssal Rush functionality has been replaced. While you're moving, you will automatically instantly cast Devouring Orb if not on cooldown, and you have enough mana. This puts Devouring Orb on cooldown. Now, this wouldn't be that easy to play in Warpath, but recently they changed how channeling skills work, so now you can regen mana while you're channeling. Now, I don't believe I have enough mana regen on this character right now. We could fix that like very easily. Like, it does not take long to fix our mana regen problem. I'd have to play the build in game. I don't know how much like mana we're sucking, but it's actually not that much mana in theory. But now we can automatically cast Devouring Orb on top of automatically casting Smite while holding down Warpath. And turns out that's pretty fucking good. The old build was garbage because it only played with Smite. But, and also this is like a year ago with like shitty gear. Like, it was a long time ago. This build's old as fuck. But this version is going to be significantly better because not only do we have insane amounts of power creep, we also have access to Devouring Orb. So we can play just orbiting Devouring Orb, right? With this node. We don't need these nodes because this only applies to hit damage. You know, Abyssal Rush is pretty good. And then we, of course, will go Abyssal Emission. And we also go Abyssal Expanse for the AoE and everything, right? The reason why this works so well is because, unfortunately, because of the way that Vortex Penance works, we are incentivized to go bleed. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Bleed in general is getting buffed in Void Knight a lot. Not only are we incentivized to, get a bunch of percent physical damage, we also get a bunch of physical pen thanks to Salt the Wound. We also get a bunch of bleed duration thanks to our prefixes, which also get us percent physical damage, which makes us throw out more axes, right? Also, as well, Void Knight's tree is just so much better for us now. Not only do we have access to extra cooldown recovery speed that doesn't require putting it on our gear, we could, in theory, get cooldown on our belt and our boots, but we would have to get some more mana regen, I think, to sustain that. We also have the echoes, of course, and, the Devouring Orbs and all that, right? We all has less damage taken. Like, We also have this node still, the crit multi, which then of course can get converted into physical pen with Salt the Wound, right? Which is just a generically good item for us. Overall, this build is oozing, and I mean oozing in terms of synergy. But the biggest thing out of everything is because of all of the woven echoes that exist, there is a type of woven echo that allows us to push our corruption on a secondary character without actually interacting with a boss ever. We'd have to kill, I think, like a 10 run of Orbises, but you have to do that at 100 corruption. Any build can do that. Any build can kill a bunch of Orbises at like 100 corruption. That's not that big of a deal, right? So, in theory, we can push this character to 1,000 corruption. We can reset our corruption using like the -10 corruption thing, right? And then we can just simply reapply the corruption whenever we need it, right? But we never have to interact with a single boss ever. And because of the Weaver's Tree, we can farm boss uniques without needing to, interact with bosses, without interacting with any of that. So in theory, all of our investment can be just towards making our clear as good as possible. And of course, we have smites, we have devouring orbs. Now, something you can do that I did not do here is you could go this route and go for extra like lightning bolts and stuff like that. But the problem with that is you have to be ready to deal with the extra mana cost in theory. You do have to be ready to deal with the extra mana cost, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm pretty sure now that's only the mana cost when you cast it from this source, by the way, Winds of Justice, instead of this source. This source is free. So like it's only like 4 smite casts per second, which is like 12 mana per second. We actually it's a little bit more than that. So we could in theory like just get a little bit more mana regen. Like instead of running, I don't know, physical percent, you can run mana regen percent, right? Oh, instead of strength for stuff, we can run mana regen here. Actually, it just might end up being better if we just run mana regen, to be honest with you. It might legitimately just be better if we run mana regen. But essentially, while we're running around, we're going to have Devouring Orbs automatically casting. We're going to have Sigils of Hope automatically casting, which, by the way, mind you, Sigils of Hope do actually give us mana regen, which is really funny. It also as well gives us a lot of percent increased damage that we didn't need. But what else are we putting in the slot? It's not like as if we need more, not like as if we need another skill to actually use, right? We're not using buttons here, are we? No, we're not. But yeah, Vortex Penance allows this playstyle. Of course, this is not a league starter build. Just so you know, you need Smite Idols. You need Vortex Pennant. And everything else, like you don't technically need, but eventually you should get, like Assault the Wound, of course, and a Blood of the Exile is really good, right? Blood of the Exile is really good because it's just 40% more damage while clearing, because things are going to be chasing you constantly as like a Warpath build, right? Eventually, you do want to get more movement speed. So in theory, you get Arboreal Circuits with movement speed. You get like a 4 LP haste chest, technically. You lose a lot of armor by doing this, but you get more movement speed. So it depends on what corruption you end up pushing. If you only do like 700 corruption, you could easily go movement speed and just like farm echoes. Or there have been some cursed planners that have been thrown my way, by the way. There have been some cursed planners, unfortunately. You could, in theory, just run super arenas all day. You can do like a champion setup where all you do is just do super arenas all day. You could do that to yourself. You could, in theory. In theory, you could do that to yourself and never have to actually move. Be AFK and just hold down the button the whole time and try to make every single place in your mono an arena and all that. You could do that. Do I suggest that? No, but you can do that. But yeah, there's like a lot of different things that makes this build viable that didn't exist before. The biggest thing, of course, is Devouring Orb. If you don't know, Devouring Orb is just a pretty good skill in general. Lots of extra clear, lots of extra single target. It's like pretty much what the build needed. Like, I don't know if you can tell in the footage, but my clear isn't like the best thing ever since sliced bread. It's good enough. Part of the problem is just this character was poorly put together and I had like no damage whatsoever. Like there's a few problems with this character. It's just really old. Like Like, dude, like I'm just looking at the gear. I'm just cringing a little bit. Like, it's just really old, dude. It's really, really old. But thankfully, power creep. And of course, there's nothing wrong with like bumping down to like 600 corruption or something like that for this build, because it's just favor while you have your brain turned off. That's pretty much the whole point of this build. I will probably end up playing this because I need copious, and I mean copious amounts of favor farm in general to keep up with the demand of how many builds I play per season. So having a build that I can like play the video game while also turning my brain off is probably going to be something I want in general, and getting a bunch of favor, because I'm going to have plenty of things to sell, plenty of things to buy. I'm just having problems with favor, right? Because I'm buying a bunch of 3LP items and stuff like that. So in theory, this could save me, right? In theory. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this character. All that being said, if you like auto casting, leave a like on the video. All that being said, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.